Welcome back, all our 40K fanatics out there. I'm DJ.
And I'm Lane.
And I'm wearing shark slippers and ready to play Warhammer 40K.
You don't have the shark Draxus today, so you got to have the sharks on the feet.
I do have a shark costume that I wore. It was just like a little hat. Maybe for the post game, I'll break that out for this. But no, honestly, just my feet have been hurting standing on this floor lately. I think I need to change some of the flooring, so I decided to wear some slippers today. Getting old, that's what happens.
Right, it happens.
And speaking of old, I'm bringing back one of my old favorites, the Grey Knights. These guys, I have a lot of love for them. And with so many different armies been messing with, this is one that I feel like I can shake the rust off of easily. As we were discussing, not as many data sheets as some things. Right. Not as many detachments. Big part of it. Because with Necrons, it's like, oh, I want to play this. I want to play this. I want to play this. And there's so many things I want to play. But it's like getting it ready to be comfortable before we go to an event this weekend. And you know all about that because that's exactly the problem you're having right now with Blood Angels.
No, it's not a problem. It's so much fun. I just have so many different options. I can't settle on what I want to do with them. There's so many ideas I have. So we're trying some new stuff. I could play 10 games and have a totally different list every time. So today is the Land Raider of Doom. We'll get into it here, but I'm taking a Land Raider and I'm packing it full of so much damage that it's the Land Raider of Doom.
And for me, it's a lot of the similar builds from what I've done before, but me kind of taking it, tweaking it, and trying to make something that's competitive, that's strong, and going to make it happen. There's only one model that I'm testing today and someone that I haven't used in 10th edition, and that is the Brotherhood Champion. So it'll be interesting to see how he does, especially because Blood Angels are pretty popular. So seeing him in the meta with what he can do, which is give fight first to his unit, could be strong. Grey Knight Strike Marines, 120 points for 5 of them. Sometimes a little hesitant to slap characters onto a 5-man squad, but with them, they hit hard. They can hit back very, very hard. And we've seen it a couple more times. I mean, I think you know something or two about slapping characters on a 5-man squad, don't you?
Yeah. We've got a few of those today. I got a lot of characters packed in here today. 7, not as many as the 10 I had for Death Guard last week, but I think I got 7 characters today, so a lot. But with Blood Angels, it's so hard not to take them. They're so good.
So, Lane, what are you bringing here today?
All right, so this is my Blood Angel list. If you want more details about how we plan to use these units, please check out our army-specific videos that we have done separately. But this is just a quick run-through here. So this is 1,995 points of Blood Angels in the Liberator Assault Group Detachment. I have 2 captains. One has the Rage-Fueled Warrior enhancement. The other has Speed of the Primarch. I do have Chief Librarian Mephiston. He is going to be played today by Astrath. I don't have the Mephiston model yet, so I'm just using the Astrath model for my Mephiston. We have Commander Dante, we have Lamartis, we have a Lieutenant that has the Gift of Foresight enhancement, and we have a Sanguinary Priest. For Battle Line, I've got 1 5-man of Assault Intercessors. I've got 2 5-mans of Assault Intercessors with jump packs, a 6-man Blade Guard Vet Squad, a 10-man Death Company Marines with jump packs, 1 5-man Infiltrator Squad, a 6-man Sanguinary Guard Squad, and then the Land Raider of Doom. I've got a Land Raider Crusader here. DJ, what are you bringing today?
All right, so here's the Grey Knights that I will be fielding, and if everything goes according, I'll be fielding them this weekend too. So for this list, I have 3 Dread Knight chassis. One is the Grand Master, who will have the Sigil of Exigence. All 3 Dread Knights have Psy Cannon, Silencer, and Hammer. Then we have, and the other 2 are just regular Dread Knights with the Advance and Charge options. We also have a 10-man squad of Purifiers with 4 Incinerators led by Castle and Crow, a 10-man squad of Terminators with 2 Psy Cannons led by a Grand Master, 5 Interceptors with a Psy Cannon, 5 of the Strike with a Psy Cannon led by a Brotherhood Champion, and last but surely not least, a Grey Knight's best friend, the Librarian.
The Librarian.
Librarian of Doom. Which is hilarious that I know now the numbers aren't actually there, but technically the Librarian has enough damage that he could destroy a Land Raider in 1 turn. Granted, I would have to hit with Stormbolters, wound with Stormbolters, and you fail all of your saves. He does have that other psychic power too, but Vortex of Doom, 12 damage. Anyone?
I mean, every time you've played with him, I think at some point in the game, you've always rolled a 6. Maybe not a whole lot of times, at least one time you've rolled a 6 for his to do 2d6 mortal wounds.
It's an insanely high amount of damage. But I know that there are some people that are running 2. He in 2, 3, just because of how much damage you can put out there. But then when he whiffs, man, does he whiff bad. So I like having him there. He's a good option. He's a good utility. He can do secondaries and do actions and stuff like that. And he can pop off and absolutely wreck something.
Yeah. Now I do have a strategy that gives me a 5-up field up playing Immortals. If you do happen to roll that 6 and roll a big old 12, I'm gonna pop that strat.
There you go. Today though, one of the big things I'm trying is the Brotherhood Champion. This was something we discussed. I was on the fence of taking a Tech Marine, because I like being able to drop the Tech Marine near the Dread Knights, give him the Lone Op because he's near a vehicle, and then let him complete actions. Good tech, we know how it works.
Yeah.
But the Brotherhood Champion gives fight first. So now when some of these when that unit's going out there trying to do secondaries or steal small objectives, and he's running into something like your 5-man intercessor squads, or the jump intercessors and things like that, if it was just the strike, I could be in trouble. Your boosted strength, your boosted the AP, and the fact that most likely because you're a 12-inch move, you're going to hit me first means I'm going to lose a bunch of guys initially. And then, yeah, I crack back with the 2 damage weapon, but I need to have the model there to crack back with. Now, with the Brotherhood Champion, I could hit that squad and clear it before they even touch me.
Right.
And so that's an interesting thing. I'm curious to see how that pans out.
Yeah, it's definitely important. I mean, I've got a couple fight firsts in my army too. Mephiston's out there, and then I have the enhancement that gives me a fight first once per game with one of my units. So
yeah, fight first is just, it's nice. I don't think it's something super huge that you have to like, oh my gosh, I have to tech into this. But it's one of those things like if you can find it and get it in there easily, which this isn't too bad. He's a little 80-point character. And I mean, he rocks too.
Yeah, like, still hits real hard in combat.
Yeah, he's his big thing is he rerolls hits and wounds versus character units. Yeah, he's got precision, but I could just say, okay, I'm not going to use the precision. Take the hits on your squad, and then I keep getting the reroll hits and wounds until I get down to just the character. So there's some interesting tech with that. But yeah, Big Boy Land Raider is going to be tough.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, once you get the Dread Knights into combat with them, they might be able to do some more.
If the Grandmaster hits because he rerolls hits, wounds, and damage into a vehicle once per battle round, he could slap that thing really hard.
Absolutely.
But a lot of other games, usually when I come out and go after that Land Raider, I'm putting myself in a position where it's like everything else can then just jump. So that'll be interesting to see on that.
I don't know if you want to kill that Land Raider. You're not going to like what you find inside there. There's a whole lot coming out.
Well,
I got transport capacity at 16, and it will be full of 16. Although, as you see in deployment here, I'm trying something a little sneaky here. We'll see how it goes.
I'm kind of feeling like anything in the transports is not going to be in there that long. Like you're going to be like, oh look, here they are, and poof across the table.
Yeah, that's the idea. That's the plan.
All right, Lane. Out or even?
Even.
It is even. Do you wish to deploy first or second?
You don't have any infiltrators, right?
I do not.
I guess I'll have you drop first then.
All right, then we'll be back after deployment. All right, we are deployed. Lane, talk to us about what we are doing here today.
We are playing the glorious game of Warhammer 40,000. Today our deployment is sweeping engagement. So this is kind of the stepped dawn of war. And our mission today, our primary mission is terraform. We get 4 points for each objective we control, but if we do an action on an objective that completes at the end of our opponent's turn, then we score 2 points each turn for that objective, whether we control it or not. So very strong if you can get rest of the game. So very strong if you can terraform. However, you have to survive through your opponent's turn. So, and then our mission special rule today is just swift action. Battle line units can advance or fall back and still do actions.
All right. So now as far as deployments, I'm doing what Grey Knights do best.
Stay away from Blood Angels?
Hide. So as you know, I can pick up units and drop on the field. You know, most would say, oh, like Hypercrypt. No, Hypercrypt does it like Grey Knights do. We were first. So I can pick up 3 units and deep strike them back down. So I want to make sure that my stuff's protected. Basically, I was going back and forth with Lane on deployments. And it came down to these guys are here, back here already. Oops. And one of them is able to move up and tag this objective if I decide to, if I go first and turn 1 stuff and those things. The strike are here to sticky my home field objective and then start going around and doing secondaries and stuff. And the purifiers are back here to get picked up and go somewhere else. I did not want to put them anywhere to get hit for an advance and charge, and I really didn't see any safe points. I tried to get Lane to bait out his Land Raider, and that's where I had those two left. And when Lane put the Land Raider down right here, it took away one of my options, which was to put the Dread Knight, the Grand Master, here, so that he could move over into this territory for engage on all fronts, and maybe just mess with these 5 dudes hanging out back here. But as soon as that Land Raider went down there, I was like, well, that changes things. So decided to put him right over here. He does have the sigil, so if Lane shoots, I can jump him out of there and get away. And I put him back far enough that even if the Blood Angels, or the Death Company specifically, stick a 6 on their advance, they still cannot have a legal charge on him. Whew. Okay, in Deep Strike, I have 1 Librarian, the 10 Terminators with the Grandmaster with First of the Fray enhancement, as well as 5 Interceptors. Your turn, Lane.
Okay, so today's secret fun Blood Angel tech is, the idea is that throughout this game, the 6-man Blade Guard with the 2 characters, the 5-man Assault Intercessors with 2 characters, and Mephiston will be inside the Land Raider. However, they're going to get in there in turn 1, because starting in turn 1, I have Dante and the Sanguinary Guard in here. I talked about what I'm doing here in my my army list, my army list video where I discussed that. But the idea is that these guys can go in here, the Sanguinary Guard and Dante can go in there because they're just infantry with jump packs, and with the transport capacity of 16, they only take up 14 slots, and they can move. They get the 3-inch disembark, the 12-inch move. Dante gives them +1 to advance and charge rolls, and have an advance and charge strat. So meaning their turn 1 threat range out of this Land Raider is 17 inches plus 3d6 for a charge. So I wanted to place the Land Raider in the building here.
So they're a 17-inch move. Then you have d6 for an advance.
Well, it's they have a 3-inch disembark,
correct,
a 12-inch move.
Correct.
They get +1, so that's 15.
For their
+1 to advance and +1 to charge from Dante. So that's going to be 17 guaranteed inches. And then the advance is a d6 and the charge is 2d6.
Yes.
So that's 17 plus
not
3d6.
3d6 charge. Yes, it's a d6 and then 2d6, not 3d6 charge. Okay.
Now, we talked about this beforehand, which is why, as you can see here, there is nothing within that charge threat range. DJ stayed very far away from me, but it does force him to kind of play like that. And then,
mind you, this is not it's not like, oh, I knew and better. Listen, Space Wolves, Blood Angels, all this stuff, I'm Grey Knights. I'm going to stay as far back as I can until I figure out what your stuff can do. Mm-hmm. This right here is oh, I don't know what you can do. So I'm going to hide and do what Grey Knights do best.
Yeah. Now, if I place the Land Raider in the building here, that 17 inches extends all the way over there, plus 3d6 means you're really hard to hide from me. However, with the mission we pulled, which is Terraform, I want the Land Raider to go out and Terraform because he's a good durable unit. Yep. So that's why he's not in the building, because I can't drive him out.
And Mr. Deimos is a real threat. So it's like you have to play into turns 2 and 3 as opposed to that first turn. So
today they probably won't go out there and charge, but that is the idea for all of you Blood Angels players. Maybe something you want to try.
All right, now what are the rest of it? We got these guys.
So we have everybody in here. The Blade Guard and the Assault Intercessors with all their characters and Mephiston. As soon as the Sanguinary Guard get out, they're going to get into the Land Raider, and the Land Raider moves in the middle of the table. Okay. We've got the Death Company with Lamartis here, Death Company with Jump Packs. We've got the Infiltrator Squad here to block out your deep strikes from a deployment zone objective. A 5-man Jump Intercessor there.
And 5-man over here. You just keep forgetting. Yep. Just leaving these guys here.
Yeah, I want you to forget about
these poor little guys. Oh, I'm not forgetting about them. All right, so that's pretty much that. In this scenario, Lane, what would you like to go first or second?
Probably second, I guess, just because you're Grey Knights, right? And I don't want you to have your uppy downy turn 1.
Yeah, Grey Knights always going second is strong, but that's why I put that first the fray in, because that was a point of me getting beat up in the past. So, all right, let's see what we got. I got a 2. You got a 5.
Blood Angel's going first.
All right, so we have no scout moves. And it looks like it's just, that's everything. So it's time to play the game.
All right, I did not stack the deck, guys, but for turn 1, I pulled Area Denial and Secure No Man's Land. So we are doing those 2 things. Not going to do any killing, but what we did is the old switcheroo. The Sanguinary Guard jumped out here. With their advance, I could have moved them all the way up on the other side of this train if I wanted to, but I didn't want to put them out there quite yet. So we moved them here, and then everybody got in. So that's the Blade Guard vets, with the captain and lieutenant, the Salt Intercessors with the captain and the Sanguinary Priest, and Mephiston all inside the Land Raider. Land Raider moved up here, and he's going to start terraforming. And then, yeah, these guys advanced up here to get on this for secure no man's land. These jump intercessors got up here just to kind of, I'm going to scoot him in a little bit. Just be safe.
His pistol hanging out around the wall.
I'll just pivot, turn them around. Oh, face
Put your
there
gun
we go.
away.
Anyways, they are there to just kind of stage and block out deep strikes, reserves, whatever that may be. And that's it. Death Company just holding tight here, waiting for what's going to happen next. But that's it for my turn. It's an easy 10 on secondaries, off to a strong start. On to DJ.
All right. So we have Sabotage as well as, Extend Battle Lines. Sorry, I was thinking there for a second because I have the Sabotage. Originally, I was just going to discard it for a command point. I literally just said that to Lane. But I do have this Dread Knight over here that's was going to shoot at these jump intercessors over here and just try and whittle off some damage. He ignores cover. We got AP1, side cannons, flat 3 damage. We can accidentally do some work to them. So it's just removing some bodies. I don't want to get too crazy right now. But, I mean, he could technically just go into that piece of terrain and sabotage, and most likely he's in a position that he's not going to get hit. So I want to think about that a little bit. These Terminators, I did bring them in on First of the Fray. They are way, way back here, but the 3 side cannons, this Dread Knight, and the Grandmaster Dread Knight are all sitting within 24 inches of the Land Raider. Chances are we're not going to destroy it, but at least we can put some damage on it and not hate ourselves for doing it, because if Lane moves up, disembarks, and attempts to charge anything over here, he's going to need at least a 10 on, so I'm playing on he's not going to roll 10s, or at least hoping. Over here, we brought the Purifiers back down. We just brought them down over here. They're in cover, and they all got eyes and range on this squad. They're just going to try and pick them up and take them off that objective so that Lane doesn't score too heavy on primary. We stayed with the strike here so now we sticky this objective, and we're going to do some shooting. See if we can't pick some dudes up. All right, so shooting-wise, this Dread Knight was super, super successful. Side cannon, still big hurt. Wounding on 2s, AP2, flat 3 damage. The side cannon alone actually just rocked most of the squad, and the silencer was able to pick up the last dude. Over here, Purifiers, if you run into Purifiers or you play them yourself, 4 Incinerators with Purifying Flame with Crow should shred infantry. So if they can't shred a little 5-man over here that can't get cover and doesn't have AOC because Lane didn't want to spend command point on it, then there's a problem. Now, Lane did decide to spend a command point here on stealth for smoke, for stealth and cover. Now, the Terminators were able to ignore the stealth portion and still be able to hit. But as expected, I wasn't really trying to destroy the Land Raider. I just wanted to put a bit of damage on it. And the only thing that went through was 1 shot from the Grandmaster to put 3 damage on it. So 3 wounds on that tick. And it's not a Rhino, so it's not healing back. So that's going to end my turn. I did decide, obviously, not to go for the Sabotage. So we will just pitch that for a command point and kick it over to Lane.
So for this turn, I pulled Containment and Establish a Locus. Not a great couple of secondaries because DJ killed my secondary scoring units, my jump intercessor. But yeah, so here's what we're going to try to do. We put Oath a Moment on this Nemesis Dread Knight so the Land Raider can put some shots into him, hopefully do a little bit of damage there. Then we advanced up with these guys, the Death Company with Lamarty's, the Nemesis Dread Knight there, popped away through Mr. Demos. And then up here, we moved and made sure we were outside of 9 inches so that I had done this first. We moved him up so they're outside of 9 inches so they could not miss away.
Yeah, so that gave me the knowledge of knowing, okay, the Sanguinary Guard have already moved. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do this.
Probably should have moved these guys first. Then if he had missed it, I could have moved closer over here.
Yep.
Oh, well. I did get +1 on my charges, so it will be an 8-inch charge to get in there. Really, we're just going to shoot with the Land Raider, and it's charge time. So first, the only shooting I did was the Land Raider. Whiffed with the Hunter Killer and the Melta. Didn't DJ made his invuln saves there, but I did get a few wounds through thanks to the Hurricane Bolters and got 3 dev wounds from the twin-linked assault cannon. So a little damage there. Then the charging. So we had a 9-inch charge with the Death Company. I rolled a 10, and we got in here, and then also rolled a 10 for the Sanguinary Guard. As we can see here, the Sanguinary Guard are now very lonely. I'll take you through what happened here. So to start off with, I fought here first because DJ did have enough command points to interrupt. He had 3 command points going on. I fought here first, and Death Company honestly whiffed pretty hard. Just because DJ did True Silver here, I made him take 15 3-up saves, and he made all but 1, and then he failed a couple chainsword saves, a couple 2-ups. So I killed, what, 1 guy?
1 guy, and 1 guy's down to a wound, and that guy's going to come back and take that objective.
Yeah, they're Terminators, they resurrect. So, and then in the slapback, he didn't roll as good as he did on his saves. I do have some Death Company left here. The 6-up Feel No Pain came in handy. Lamartius does not reduce damage because the Grandmaster ignores modifiers for his unit, so I was not able to reduce damage. Otherwise, I could have tanked that pretty well. The 6-up Feel No Pain did come in handy because he otherwise would have picked up the whole squad, but I made a few of those. And then, so after that, he did interrupt over here with the Purifiers and Crow. However, I did Armor Contempt here because I could not use my CP to Armor and Contempt over there because, again, they can't ignore modifiers. And naturally, the Sanguinary Guard are -1 to hit in combat, led by a character. They're -1 to wound. And DJ swung in there and had a hard time doing any damage because I made every one of my saves. They were 2-up armor with the Armor Contempt. They were making 3-up saves, and we just managed to just deal with it. So it took no damage. And then when they slapped back, they wrecked the entire squad. And actually, the Sanguinary Guard picked up the whole squad and Crow without Dante even having to swing. So Dante is well rested. So that's about that. That'll be the end of my turn. So we just get 2 for establishing Locus with Mephiston here. And then that's that. DJ, what are you going to do in your command phase?
Oh, so at the beginning of my command phase, I will use the Apothecary to place 1 dead model back in the Terminator squad, which will go right here. Since I'm within engagement range, I'm allowed to get this close, and I'm within coherence of these 2 models. So now my little OC3 Terminator will give me 4 extra points on primary.
Yeah, I intentionally pulled myself off the objective in case he pulled Overwhelming Force in his turn, just to deny him that. And even if I had 1 or 2 guys on here, he's still at OC3. So Death Company are only OC1. So that's the way that goes. So on to DJ's turn.
All right, so still having 1 secondary that's a little rough for me to get. I have Containment and Bring It Down. Originally, I had Defend Stronghold, which, about that. So I didn't want to keep that one, so I just shifted it out. And I got Containment and Bring It Down. Well, this is my only Bring It Down target. So that's going to be rather difficult. I'll make an effort at it, but I don't think that's going to happen. Now, Containment, we got that. Brought the Strike in. So what I picked up the Strike and the Grandmaster. The other Dread Knight was already in Deep Strike because of Mista Demos. And so Terminator stayed down. We reanimated 1, like Necrons do. Took the objective. We moved this Dread Knight back. He's got 24-inch range to smack the Land Raider with Ignore Cover and his weapons, and then come in here and charge the Death Company to try to finish them off so we don't accidentally lose any more Terminators. The Strike came down. I did spend a command point to put them 3 inches away so that they're touching this objective to potentially sticky it, as well as containing over on this side of the map. It's a good spot for them to be for a lot of different secondaries. Dread Knight came down with the Librarian over here to draw a line of sight and hit this Land Raider. And then the Grandmaster, he's over there. Going to try and pick up these 5-man Marines and just get rid of more of Lane's scoring assets. Try and cut those guys out as I can. Last but not least is the Interceptors hiding over here in the corner. If Lane really wants to stretch it and come after me with the Sanguinary Guard, by all means, it's going to take some high numbers for him to get there. And it's just a little 5-man Interceptor squad. But they're going to contain for me. And while they're containing, we're going to do some shooting over here. I'm all backed up against the wall over here. So let's see if we can gun our way out. So shooting-wise was relatively simple. Not a good shooting round. Lane popped smoke with these guys. And although I was able to hit, I kind of trashed my wounds with him. So unfortunately, we did not finish them off. Also, the Feel No Pains helped too, because Lane was able to stop one with a 6, and then it took another damage from the. He was able to Feel No Pain one of them, just keep alive even on the 3 damage. So they're still holding that objective. Over here, the Dreadnought Librarian and other Brotherhood Dread Knight shot, and the Librarian was the only one who was able to carve off only 3 wounds. So not a strong performance. Granted, it is Strength 10 going into Toughness 12, so I'm not expecting much, but I need to at least start whittling it down a little bit more than that. And other than that, the only thing was some combat. So we did charge the Dread Knight in, and he again whiffed. He only was able to take 1 dude out in total. They struck back. We lost 3 Terminators to the Death Company, and then just cleared them out of the way. Terminator said, all right, let's stop rolling bad dice, and rolled bad dice, but I had so many of them that I was still able to pick up the Death Company. Lamardis barely to the exact wound after Feel No Pains. So that's going to end my turn. I'm going to pitch the pitch to bring it down. I don't know when I'll end up getting that, if I get that at all, so I'll just pitch that for a command point, and I will get the full containment. So let's kick it over to Lane and his turn.
For this turn, I pull behind enemy lines and storm hostile objective. Good job, Sanguinary Guard. They're kind of out of position for other stuff, but they are in position for getting behind enemy lines and storming that hostile objective, because DJ did have that stickied. So that gives me a storm hostile there. However, I'm also going to try to storm this hostile objective and wreck these guys here, because everybody came out. Land Raider of Doom, everybody's disembarked, is going to go in there. They are my oath targets. I hate them so much. We're going to punch with everything we've got. Mephiston is just going to stay here. Actually, I'm going to scooch him just a little bit this way, just to run a 3-inch deep strike onto there. Yeah, and that's it from a movement. We're going to do a little bit of shooting, and then it's charge o'clock. So shooting phase, Land Raider picked up, what did we pick up? 2 of these guys?
2 and a partial.
Yeah, 2 and a partial, just some pistols and the Land Raider.
But first, Lane had a little more movement.
Oh, I forgot to move. I wanted to move these guys because they were just going to die on this objective from him, so I advanced them away. So they ran away like the brave Space Marines they are. Unfortunately, I couldn't get all the way out of line of sight because this guy is not on the top floor, but he's on the bottom, but he would be visible to him, so they will be able to get shot by him. So, and then we did do the, so the lieutenant here in the Blade Guard Vet Squad has the enhancement gift of Foresight, which means once per battle round, he can flip a hit, wound, or save to a 6. So I shot these guys with his Volkite pistol. It's 2 damage, dev wounds. I rolled a 1 on my wound, but I flipped that to a 6. And so, boom, did 2 damage dev wound to the Terminators. Doesn't make my charge any harder, but makes it so I can kill that Marine a little bit easier. Now it's time for charges. We got 6-inch charges here. So when we moved up, we got everybody. We moved up the Land Raider just outside of 9 and disembarked everybody. The disembark does not trigger strats or abilities, so he could not miss away. So these 2 squads, the Blade Guard and the Assault Intercessors, both have 6-inch charges into the Terminators. Let's go. Okay, so we made our charges. I needed 6s to get in there. I rolled 6s for both units, which means DJ may be able to pull some of his guys in a way that makes it more difficult for me to fight. Now, I'm going to fight with the Assault Intercessors first. They have a captain leading them with the enhancement that gives them the once per game sustained 3. So we're going to pop it off this turn. This is the time to do it. We got to wreck some Terminators.
And these are your Oath of Moment target.
Yep, that is the Oath of Moment target, so we're re-rolling. And the Sanguinary Priest gives them AP, extra AP in combat. So the captain with his Power Fist gets 5 attacks. When he is a Blood Angel and he charges, he gets an extra 1. Once per game, the captain can do a bonus 3 attacks. So he's going to get 9 attacks. He's hitting on 2s. 6s will be sustained 3. So we're going to fish for 6s. We're just going to fish. We got 1 6 so far. Show me some more. Okay, so we got a 1, but we got 3 6s. So that is going to be sustained 3 for each of those. That's 9 extra hits. So off of 9 attacks, we have 17 hits. This is strength 10. We did Lance anyways for free with the captain's unit. It won't affect him because he's already winning on 2s. And then we reroll all wound rolls with these guys because you're on an objective, and they're the Assault Intercessors. So we're just looking for 2s with rerolls here. And that one was a 2. So,
Yeah, so-
yep, they all went. So you got 17 wounds, AP 3. So putting you on your invuln.
Yep.
2 damage apiece.
2 damage apiece. Okay, so we'll take out the winners. All right, so we lose 1. Oh,
The one guy was
damage,
wounded.
so
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, and a partial Terminator.
4 and a partial from just the captain. Pretty good. And I'll roll out the rest of the unit here. Woo-wee. So the assault intercessors basically picked up the rest of the Terminators by themselves and left just the Grandmaster there. And then the Blade Guard will have to pile in and finish off the Grandmaster. So I was actually able to save this captain's once per game extra attack. So he still has that going on. But yeah, I did pretty well there. I took this objective, blended them. DJ did True Silver, but the Sanguinary Guard let the Power Fist here go up to AP 3, so still put him on his invulns. I forgot the Dev Wounds, that when the captain does his once per game extra 3 attacks, it gives him Dev Wounds on his attacks as well. I forgot about that. We still were able to pick them up, so need to remember that next time. Another rule that I forgot. So moving on there, we did storm a hostile objective, and we did get behind enemy lines for one unit. Yeah, this is 8 inches over here, right? Yeah, so I didn't make it over here. So, but pretty well. On to DJ's turn.
Looking a little better on secondaries for this turn. We got Cleanse and Behind Enemy Lines. So we're in position for Behind Enemy Lines with the Dread Knight. We just brought the Strike back, picked them up, brought them down over here. And they're going to cleanse this objective because it's outside my deployment zone, and we have 2 units behind enemy lines. So those only take it from 3 points to 4 points, but this is a nice way to be able to get the second cleanse. And then I just brought the interceptors back in, and they're going to cleanse this objective as well. So there we go. That's going to be my secondaries from those guys. Otherwise, we got a mess to clean up over here. So I move the Dread Knights into position. We're going to do some shooting with them. Librarian's in position. He's going to do his thing. And this Dread Knight is in position. He's just going to try and mop up these last 3 Marines before they want to run away and give me trouble later in the game. All right, let's shoot. So shooting-wise, the Librarian hurt himself, which means that he's going to roll a 6 next time. You know, I rolled off between my 2 Librarians, and he was like, come on, dude, I got this. And so far, he's done 3 mortal wounds and 3 mortal wounds to himself. Both the Dread Knights shot as well into the Blade Guard, and we were able to pick up the Blade Guard, leaving just the 2 characters on the table. So we're going to charge in and try and do some work next into those 2 squads. Over here, this Dread Knight totally whiffed. We didn't even take out 1 dude. However, if we'd roll boxcars, because you know right now I've been rolling great dice, we're going to throw 2 dice out of 12. And if we hit that 12, hey, we land a charge and can finish these guys off. Because, of course, that's what's going to happen since he's already whiffed with the Psycan Silencer. In fact, let's just do this right now, and then we'll go over here and do these charges. All right, I need a 12.
Big 12.
Ready? Big 12. That's not a 12. That's halfway to a 12, but not a 12. All right, we'll do the rest of the charges and see how those things wrap up. So I regret to inform you, this is what happens when everything goes terribly wrong. Lane can confirm on this. So I shot with both Dread Knights and Librarian, like I said, into the Blade Guard.
Yeah, he picked up the Blade Guard.
Blade Guard hurt themselves, and the Dread Knights were able to barely finish off the 6 guys that each one of their hits go through, takes out a dude. So that was part 1. Then we charged. I did make the mistake of this guy being the fight first guy. I didn't know he was the fight first guy. That was my fault. I should have asked. So I got hit with the fight first there and lost my Librarian, who I wouldn't have lost if he didn't hurt himself. Then the Dread Knight charged and swung and hit. And Lane made saves on 6s on stuff. Or I'm sorry, not over here. Over here, we just rolled 3 1s, failed miserably, and I think we did 1 damage to a Marine in the end of it all.
You picked up 1 Marine.
I picked up 1 Marine.
Yeah, you did 1 because they have the 5-up feel no pain in that unit because of the Sanguinary Priest.
He just took damage. And then over here, he smacked the Lieutenant, and he made every single invulnerable save, of course. Now, those dice on top of my Dread Knights, let's talk about them a little bit. Every single attack that hit him, even with the reroll wounds, every single one, didn't matter if it was a 2-up save, a 3-up save, or a 4-up invulnerable save. Failed every single one of them. And then over here, we got hit 1 time, 1 wound. Made sure to fail that one. Guys, I do not see faith in me pulling this one out. I don't think that I played that wrong. I think the dice just said, you just go to bed, DJ. Just go to bed.
It's late.
I scored the cleanse. I scored some secondaries. We're going to fight the good fight, but there's not really. It's going to be tough from this point on. All right, over to lane.
Pulled cleanse and engage in all fronts. I actually pulled extend battle lines, which is usually a great one, but not this turn because I'm not taking this objective back. So I pitched that, spent a CP to do that. And now we're just going to score some points here. So engage. These infiltrators moved up to engage. Mephiston moved over here, so he can engage here. These guys are cleansing and engaging there. And then over here, we are cleansing and with the captain who is non-engagement range and engaging over here in this corner. All right, so we're going to do a little shooting. We oathed this Dreadnought, or the Nemesis Dread Knight with the more wounds left. See if we can do a little shooting into him. So in my shooting phase, Lieutenant fired his pistol into the Nemesis Dread Knight there, and of course he used his once per battle round, flip a wound roll to a 6 to do the 2 dev wounds, and then the Land Raider did shoot to finish him off. We got 2 melter shots through and we were in melter range, so picked him up. In the fight phase, the Nemesis Dread Knight here fought first and picked up 2 of my guys, and then my guys fought in and were able to finish him off. That's it. So we got cleanse for 2 and engage in all, cleanse in 2 objectives. So we got 4 points there, and we engaged in all the all fronts. So we got 4 points there. So 8 on secondaries. On to DJ's turn.
One thing I forgot to mention is I did go after a secret mission since I have we're in trouble. For this turn, establish locus and no prisoners. So we picked up the Dread Knight. And we landed him over here, and he's going to try and shoot and charge in here because we have to try and push these guys back since they cleared everything. Over here, the strike are going to move up and just try to remove these guys, get rid of them, so we don't have to deal with them. And over here, the interceptors moved around the corner. They're going to establish the locus for a deployment zone to get us those points. All right, a little bit of shooting and then some charges. Let's see what happens. All right, so shooting-wise, only a little bit of damage. We shot and just, once again, we're completely walled by everything and did no damage and feel no pains. And I shot everything at that squad, and it did nothing. But when I charged in, I was able to make it back. Finished off the dudes. Only got 1 on the tank shock from the Dread Knight, but we did stick a good amount of hits, so we picked up the Apothecary and dropped him down to 1. So that was a positive. And then over here, we quickly shot and then cleaned up the last of those guys. So we do score no prisoners. Yeah, we got 5 on no prisoners. We killed 3 units. And we will establish a locus. So good turn on secondaries, but that's going to end here soon. All right, over to lane.
So I pulled Assassination and Overwhelming Force. I did try to kill, I kind of guessed what DJ's secret mission was going to be. I came up here to kill these guys. But he missed them away. So they were battle line. So he missed them away. It means he'll be able to deep strike them on his turn. It'll guarantee him the scoring the secret mission. So it's going to be an extremely close game here. So yeah, let's see if we can do something here. So assassinate. I need to kill this guy because he's a character. And so we move the Land Raider up here so we can take this objective from him there. And then Sanguinary Guard are going to make a charge here for these guys. Just 7 on the dice there. So do a little shooting, and then we'll see what happens. All right, so we successfully managed to pick this guy up here. It took everything we had. With the Lieutenant shooting and doing his magic, turn a wound roll to a 6. It happened again, so he took a couple wounds off. 1 melt-a-shot got through, and a few just got him down to 1 wound, and then the Lieutenant finished him off when he charged in and was able to make the attack there, finish off the Grandmaster in Dread Knight armor. So he pulled our assassination, and then thanks to the +1 to charge over here, the Sandguard made their charge, and we were able to pretty easily wipe this Interceptor squad that was holding this objective. So we have successfully tabled DJ, other than the fact that he does have a unit in Deep Strike still, because he missed here. So, but scored Assassinate and for 5, and Overwhelming Force for 5, because we killed 2 units that were on objectives.
All right, so real simple, easy turn, not considering all I had was 1 unit. Lane did figure out my secret mission. The secret mission I picked was War of Attrition, so I wanted to make sure he had no battle line units, as well as, or if the battle line units he had were on the table, they were in his deployment zone, which they were not, and had the only battle line units left in the game in his deployment zone. So that was them. Grey Knights are able to do that kind of stuff and keep them safe, so I knew I was able to do it. But I will not score anything else on primaries, even though I didn't terraform. If you guys didn't see with the updates that came out recently, if you do a secret mission, you do not score any other primaries on turn 5. So even though I controlled this objective, I did not get 4 points for it. My secondaries were Assassinate and Area Denial, and because I had to be back here, I just tried to assassinate this guy here and was only able to get 1 wound through. And if I spent a command point to drop within 3 inches, I wouldn't have had CP for a grenade, so unfortunately, we could not grenade him either. So that's going to end the game. And even with that rough series of turns over there, the Grey Knights do put a valiant 74 to the Blood Angels 87. It is a Blood Angels win here today. Oh, man, that was such a sour moment over in this area.
Nope, not for me. It was great.
Yeah, no, that was definitely horrible.
You know, it was all because of the Land Raider of Doom.
Sure. But, I mean, Secret Mission was super efficient, super effective. That really boosted me to get closer to it. More or less, I needed you not to have the turn of secondaries like you did to score those 10. Like you got, right now you have a 13-point lead on me. That 10 extra points that you got on secondaries really pushed you way too far away for me to even catch up. And I couldn't even get 1 secondary. So that was where I was kind of looking at it. But closer game than I originally anticipated. Follow us over the post game. We'll talk more about this over there. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you again soon.